My grandfather didn't raise his voice. He never had to. At Christmas dinner, with the smell of roasted cinnamon ham drifting through the room and soft carols humming beneath the chatter, he simply lifted his glass, looked directly at me from the head of the table and asked, "Still living in the house I bought you?" And everything inside me went still. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just still. The gold ornaments on the tree behind him caught the firelight, flickering like tiny warning signals. My hands tightened around my napkin. The silverware clinked. Someone coughed. And then my mother's fork slipped from her fingers and hit her plate with a sharp, metallic crack. My father didn't look at me at all. He stared straight ahead, jaw clenched so tightly the muscle twitched. Grandpa waited, eyes warm, unaware of the minefield he had stepped onto. I swallowed, my voice barely steady. "Grandpa, I don't live in any house you bought." The room didn't explode. It collapsed quietly, like a roof giving way under years of hidden weight. My mother turned pale so fast it was almost frightening. My father's hand shot out to grab his water glass, even though he didn't drink. My sister sat straighter, eyes widening with slow, dawning interest. Grandpa blinked, confused. "What do you mean, sweetheart? I bought it 3 years ago. Sent the paperwork to your parents. Had the deed transferred. Even furnished the place. You never moved in." My throat tightened. "No," I whispered. "I didn't even know a house existed." A cold draft swept under the dining table, brushing against my ankles like a ghost of a truth waiting too long. "My name is Claire Emerson, I'm 30 years old, and Christmas dinner was the night I discovered my parents stole the home my billionaire grandfather bought for me. If this resonates with you, share your thoughts. It means more than you know." Grandpa frowned deeply, turning toward my parents. "Explain." He said it softly, almost gently, but I had seen COs freeze under that same tone. My mother pressed her napkin to her lips, her voice trembling. "Dad, there must be a misunderstanding. Claire wasn't ready for a house. She wouldn't have handled it well. So we kept it safe." "Knew it," my sister muttered under her breath. My father shot her a warning look before clearing his throat. "We managed the property for her. She wasn't financially capable at the time." Grandpa stared. Not angry. Just studying them like a man reading a contract he suddenly realized was forged. A memory flickered through me. Sitting on his balcony last summer sipping tea while he told me, "When you feel small to the people who should love you, that says everything about them, not you." I hadn't understood then. But the clarity now was razor sharp. Grandpa looked back at me. "You never saw the house. Never received the keys." "No," I whispered. "Not even a picture." He exhaled, slow, controlled. The kind of exhale that meant something in him had snapped into place. Around us, the dinner continued pretending to exist. Steam rising from mashed potatoes, candles flickering, relatives murmuring awkwardly, but the heart of the room had shifted. My parents sat rigid like statues waiting for their cracks to be noticed. My sister leaned forward. "Where is the house, Dad?" He didn't answer. Grandpa turned to the family lawyer seated 2 chairs down. A subtle presence invited for what was supposed to be a simple holiday formality. "Mr. Collins," Grandpa said, "pull up the transfer documents." My parents froze. Mother spoke first, too quickly. "Dad, this isn't necessary. Tonight is about family." Grandpa's eyes cooled. "And honesty." The lawyer opened his briefcase, sliding out a folder thicker than I expected. He flipped to the first page and began reading aloud. 3-bedroom coastal home, fully paid, deed transferred to Claire Emerson. Property taxes prepaid for 5 years. Maintenance fund established. He paused. And authenticated signatures from both parents acknowledging receipt. My stomach dropped. My father stood abruptly, pushing his chair back. "That was procedural. We were protecting Claire. You can't drop responsibility like this." "Responsibility?" Grandpa asked. "Or ownership?" Mother's face went chalk white. "We didn't steal anything," she whispered. Grandpa's gaze sharpened. "Then where is the house now?" The silence that followed felt like a tide pulling back before a storm. I watched my parents carefully. My father's eyes darted everywhere except toward me. My mother fidgeted with her bracelet, an expensive one I hadn't seen before. Another memory surfaced. 3 years ago I had asked them if I could move out. They told me it wasn't financially wise, that I wasn't ready, that the city was too expensive. All while a fully furnished, prepaid home waited for me. Hidden from me. Grandpa leaned back in his chair, hands steepled. I assume, he said lowly, there is a reason Claire never stepped foot in the home I bought her. Dad's voice cracked for the first time. We sold it. My breath caught. My sister gasped. Mom closed her eyes. Grandpa didn't move. You sold it, he repeated quietly. Without my permission. Without Claire's knowledge. And without giving her a single dollar from the sale. We needed the money, Mom said quickly, tears forming. You weren't helping us at the time. That house wasn't for you. Her tears slipped down her cheeks. We thought. No, Grandpa cut in sharply. You assumed. His voice wasn't loud. But it held the power of a man who had built empires. Dad raised his hands helplessly. It wasn't personal. You stole from her, Grandpa said. From your own child. And there was the truth sitting bare at the center of the table. The smell of cinnamon. The weight of heavy silence. The lights glowing softly on the Christmas tree. I had always known something was off. That my parents' finances didn't match their lifestyle. That I was kept close, controlled, doubted. But knowing and hearing were two different wounds. My mother looked at me, mascara smudging. Claire, sweetheart, we did what we thought was best. A memory cut through her words like lightning. Me at 27 working 2 jobs and asking them, quietly embarrassed, if I could stay home another few months. Mom telling me, of course. You're not stable enough to be on your own. Meanwhile my house, my freedom was already gone. Grandpa stood from his chair slowly. I need a moment, he said, voice shaking with fury contained by dignity. Claire, come with me. I rose. My knees felt strange, like they had forgotten how to carry me. As we walked toward the hallway I glanced back. At my mother crumbling into tears. My father gripping the edge of the table. My sister staring at them like she had never seen them clearly before. And for the first time in years, I felt like the one with power. The hallway outside the dining room was warm, quiet, and softly lit by the glow of the Christmas tree standing near the staircase. The scent of pine and vanilla candles lingered in the air. A world away from the implosion happening behind us. Grandpa walked ahead slowly, leaning lightly on his cane, his shoulders tight with a controlled rage I had never seen on him before. When he reached the end of the hall, near the old framed photo of him holding me as a baby, he stopped. He didn't turn around immediately. He took a long breath, steadying himself. When he finally faced me, his eyes were somber. Claire, he said quietly, I need you to hear me clearly. I nodded, even though my heart felt too heavy for my body. You did nothing to deserve what they did to you. I swallowed hard. No one deserves that, Grandpa. He stepped closer, placing a warm hand on my shoulder. I bought that house for you because I believed in you. Because I saw how hard you worked. Because you were building a life with no help and no praise. I wanted you to have something that was truly yours. Tears pricked my eyes, but I didn't let them fall. I thought maybe you changed your mind, I whispered. He shook his head firmly. I never changed my mind. They changed the truth. His voice trembled, not with weakness, but with a restrained fury that carried decades of wisdom. They stole not just property, he said, but opportunity, freedom, time. I felt something inside me unravel. Something I had kept tied up for years. All this time, I whispered, I thought I wasn't ready to leave home. That I wasn't capable. That I was the problem. You weren't, Grandpa said. His thumb brushed my shoulder gently. They were afraid. Afraid that if you stepped into your own life, you'd realize you never needed them. A memory surfaced. Me asking Dad for advice on a job offer only for him to say, you're not ready for something that big. I believed him. Grandpa squeezed my shoulder. Come with me, he said softly. He guided me into his study, a smaller room off the hall. The fireplace inside cast a soft glow against bookshelves lined with leather-bound volumes. A single folder lay on his desk. He walked to it, opened it, and turned it toward me. Inside were documents I'd never seen before. A trust. A deed. A new address. And my name printed clearly across each page. I expected something like this might happen, Grandpa said. So I prepared for it. I blinked. You knew. I didn't want to believe your parents would betray you. But I couldn't ignore the patterns. He handed me a different deed, dated just a month ago. Claire, he said, I bought you another home. This one is in your name alone with protections your parents can't touch. My breath caught. He continued. And more than that, I'm placing you as the sole executor of a new philanthropic foundation I'm funding. It's not about money, it's about purpose. Something I know you carry deeply. I stared at him stunned. Grandpa, I don't know what to say. Say nothing, he replied gently. Just accept what you deserved the first time. Before I could respond, voices rose from the dining room, the muffled sound of my parents arguing. My sister's voice broke through sharply. They lied to her. They lied to all of us. Grandpa closed the folder calmly. It seems the truth has finally reached them. I hesitated. Should we go back? He nodded. Yes. But Claire, go back as who you are now. Not the girl they kept small. Not the girl they kept small. The words anchored something inside me. We walked back toward the dining room together. When we entered, all three of them fell silent. Mom looked shattered, her mascara streaked, her hands shaking. Dad looked like a man seeing consequences for the first time. My sister sat stiffly, anger mixed with disbelief. Grandpa stepped forward before anyone else could speak. I have made my decision, he said. Claire will receive everything intended for her, plus a formal compensation for what was taken. Mom gasped. Dad, please. He held up a hand. No. What you did was unforgivable. You lied to your daughter. You stole from her. You deprived her of independence, and then convinced her she wasn't capable. My father flinched. Grandpa continued. I'm giving Claire everything you took from her. And legally, you will repay what you profited from her stolen property. Mom collapsed into her chair, sobbing. Dad's jaw clenched as if grinding against truth itself. My sister looked at me, softly, unexpectedly. I didn't know, she whispered. Claire, I swear I didn't know. For once I believed her. Then Mom reached toward me. Claire, sweetheart, please. We can fix this. We made mistakes. I stepped back. Mom, I said quietly, I spent years thinking I wasn't ready for a life that was already waiting for me. You made me believe I was helpless. That I needed your permission to grow. Her tears fell harder. That wasn't love. That was control, I said. Dad spoke carefully, too carefully. We only wanted to keep the family together. No, I replied gently. You wanted to keep me dependent. The truth didn't echo. It settled softly, like a blanket laid across the room. A long silence followed. Not empty. Not angry. Just real. Finally, Grandpa touched my arm. Claire, dear, what do you want to do now? Everyone looked at me. For the first time, their eyes did not see the version of me they created. They saw me. I exhaled slowly. I'm moving into my house, I said. The real one. Mom sobbed. Dad closed his eyes. And after that, I added, we'll see what forgiveness looks like. But I won't shrink myself again. Grandpa smiled, proud, warm, relieved. My sister nodded, wiping her cheek. I hope we can start over, she whispered. We can, I said softly. If you're willing to see me clearly. The room felt lighter somehow. Not healed. Not repaired. But shifted. I picked up my coat. As I walked to the door, Grandpa whispered, You finally stepped into your own life. The cold night air hit my face as I stepped outside, carrying the folder under my arm. Christmas lights glowed across the neighborhood, soft and forgiving. I whispered to the quiet. If you've lived anything like this, tell your story. And don't forget to subscribe. A breath. A stillness. A new beginning. Sometimes truth finds its moment.